Hello friends, I hope the markets are treating you well and you're able to navigate through the traffic of the market with ease through the ups and downs. Now this video is a fulfillment of my promise and to that extent it's going to appeal to a very limited audience which is hardcore into fossil fuels or hydrocarbons trading, which is crude oil and natural gas. And I promised you an update about what happened at the Robinhood conference on the 16th of June in the US, where the Saudi energy minister, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, also spoke about oil in addition to marquee names like Paul Tudor Jones, Victor Niederhofer, Kathy Woods, etc., etc. Now, to come back to what really happened out there, it's a well-known, well-publicized fact that Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, who is the energy minister of Saudi Arabia, was going to talk oil prices higher, all right, which is what he did. But a lot of people paid attention to the fact that he said oil prices are headed higher. But they may or may not have basically paid a lot of attention to what he also said about how high they should and should not go. So I'm going to present you with some facts, and like I said, this video is likely to appeal to a very niche audience which is hardcore into smelling profits from the hydrocarbon space. Now, I'm quoting data from the International Energy Agency, which you can very well verify from their website. Now, the output of OPEC in calendar year 2021 and calendar year 2022 is unlikely to change much. OPEC's output in 2021 is estimated to be 34.1 million barrels per day. And in 2022, it's likely to rise to 34.30 barrels per day. Now, the non-OPEC countries which form OPEC Plus. Now, this is a consortium of non-OPEC members who've come together with OPEC because there is a vested interest of higher crude oil prices, which will result in greater revenues for these countries. So in 2021, these non-OPEC but OPEC plus countries led by Russia will have output of 50.37 million barrels per day. And in 2022, it's likely to rise a tad to 50.55 million barrels per day. Now, you're going to have a total output of 84.85 million barrels per day from OPEC and non-OPEC but OPEC plus members. Now, we aren't even talking about countries like Guyana, countries like Turkey. Turkey's recently announced hydrocarbon reserves being found out there last year. Guyana is, of course, producing crude oil and started exporting consignments. Norway is basically upping its output. Don't forget, it has huge, giant oil wells. You have Johan Sverdrup, you have the Gudrun Wildcat. They are also upping output and developing their oil wells. Qatar, which has quit OPEC last year, or rather year before last. So Qatar is non-OPEC and therefore its capacity is not listed here. Ecuador, again, another country which has quit OPEC. So they are out of the ambit of OPEC, and therefore this output can only go higher if you were to include the non-OPEC countries. Let's not forget Iran, which is in OPEC but currently shackled by the JCPOA or the nuke treaty with the US, which kind of has imposed sanctions on Iranian exports of crude oil, which once negotiated and removed, of course, the presidential elections are done and dusted, Iran can bring back 4 million barrels of crude per day in very short time. The Libyans are itching to raise output and raise revenues in the bargain. Let's not forget the Iraqis, who've basically been adhering to OPEC, but just about adhering to OPEC and raising output even to the discomfort of many OPEC members. Pemex, which is the Mexican oil company, they've been basically cocking a snook at the OPEC members, and they've been raising output left, right, and center by, of course, at the same time hedging with what is now legendary in the oil business, known as the Hacienda hedges. And they've basically been pumping their guts out. So now, coming up on your screen is a chart of the spare capacity of OPEC Plus, which is OPEC and non-OPEC members, which are constituting the OPEC Plus, in calendar year 2021, from the first calendar quarter to the last calendar quarter of 2022. Now you're looking at 8 million barrels per day of spare capacity in quarter one of calendar year 2021. That's gone. Now we are almost at the end of second quarter 2021. But if you go forward, you will see that at no point in time till the end of calendar year 2022, which is a good 18 months away, the spare capacity of OPEC Plus is not going below 5.5 million barrels per day, which means that oil prices going up are going to go up rather on supply squeezes or output cuts, rather than buyers banging on the doors of the sellers and saying, give us more crude at whatever price possible. Let's not forget Qatar, which has already said, and I've posted this on my social media accounts, Qatar has said, irrespective of whether prices rise or fall, we are going to step up our output of natural gas and whatever little crude that we produce. Same with Ecuador. All right. So here are countries that are willing to basically step on the toes of OPEC and non-OPEC competitors and raise their output for the sheer want of money. Now let's come to what Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman said, which I think needs clearer understanding. He said oil prices will go up because there is a lack of fresh investment in hydrocarbon investments, which means developing, maintaining, and even raising the output of existing oil wells. Fair enough. And Iraq has gone one step further and said the price of crude oil should be $80 a barrel. Now that's a level, and I'm talking of Western Texas Intermediate or WTI, not Brent. All right. So that's a level I think is plausible, feasible, and tolerable by many economies across the world. But what Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman also said, anything above $80 to $85 a barrel, and the oil exporting countries, the Middle East, North Africa, MENA, oil exporting countries will suddenly start feeling the heat from shale oil producers. You may think shale oil is down, but do remember it's down, not out. They have a lot of bank loans and they have to basically get commercially viable again to be able to get either fresh injections of money or to be able to pay back the existing liabilities that they have. And hey, beyond $80 a barrel, shale suddenly starts to get economically viable. So which Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman very clearly said we cannot allow to happen. The words he used was commodities may be in a super cycle. Remember, the Robin Hood conference saw commodities being discussed after a gap of half a decade. For 5 years, they only talked stocks. Now that they were talking commodities, everybody was talking about super cycle in metals, etc. And Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman said, commodities may be in a super cycle, but oil cannot be allowed to go into a super cycle, because he knows what I have told you many times is that unlike equities where the paid up capital is limited, So when demand rises, the prices jumps up manyfold. Commodities are different. You dig into the ground and you get more output. He knows that if prices rise too much too fast, there's something happens which is known as demand destruction. So Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman will not sacrifice market share, will not sacrifice the use of fossil fuels in favor of renewable sources of energy or even shale oil. And he knows that it is better to have one golden egg from the hen rather than slaughter the hen once and for all in the greed of getting all the eggs at one shot. This is my theory that I'm betting on, and this is why I've been saying that crude oil will not go up to triple digits, or even if it does touch triple digits for the sake of a photo opportunity or a photo op, it is unlikely to stay there. All right. So we are still looking at plum prices to go short. I have not changed my outlook on fossil fuels. I remain of the opinion that it's a sell on rallies market. Where exactly? You should stay alert for your SMS and email alerts that you are going to receive from me as a weekly cash alert or a reserve member subscription privileges of yours. With this, my friends, I bid goodbye to you in this video, not before reminding you to click like on this video if you agree with what you saw. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. In the comment section, do let me know what you think of this video. Good, bad, ugly, your feedback is welcome. Also, help me reach out to like-minded investors and traders by referring my video to your family and friends. Have a very, very profitable day, my friends. Thank you for watching my video and your patience. Take care. Bye-bye.
This is it. The only 20 stocks to own forever. Click here to reserve your free spot for our special event on Forever Stocks on 21st June at 5 p.m. IST.